I'd like to start with what happened in Mexico last year, the reception you got. It felt, from my position in the media centre, that it was a step up again on what you've had before. Did it feel that way to you, that now that you're in one of these Red Bull cars, like it's just exploded and you've kind of gone up this another level of kind of mega star within Mexico?
Yeah, I mean the support I've been getting throughout the years, it's been amazing at my country. But I have to say that this year was pretty special, because of being with Red Bull, with the realistic chance of fighting for the win at your home race. It was mega, and the people have been amazing to me.
I saw you posted a picture of your boy by the podium the other day. I mean, that's an amazing memory. But do you have anything specific from that weekend that really stood out, be it an interaction with fans somehow or anything like that that really...
Well, the whole lead up into it, we did a show in Reforma and like 400 people turned up into it, 400,000 people. Just everything throughout, it was really special, really nice. And I mean, just getting into my car, leaving the hotel, it was like full crowded. It was really special.
I mean, it sounds like most of that is a positive thing, but does it bring any extra pressure? Because you are like pretty much one of the biggest sports stars in Mexico, and you have this nation behind you. And I don't think many people, even in F1, you don't see that with many drivers to have that much support from a country. What does it feel like to be a national hero?
It's a big responsibility, first of all, because you have to deliver on track and off track as a person, as a human being. But it's nice. I really enjoy it. I'm very grateful, the easiest way to make them happy is by winning, and this is my full focus. I work every day to win, and if I do that, I know that I make a lot of Mexicans happy.
I feel like one thing that's kind of in the last few years has become a big thing is social media, and fans can now interact directly with you. And we've seen positive things about that, but we've seen negative things like Nicholas Latifi got a lot of backlash just because he spun in Abu Dhabi. How do you deal with that? Do you get a lot from Mexico? Is it positive? Do you ever get negative?
Yeah, I mean, you are exposed. People sometimes think that because you are a public figure, they're able to interfere with your private life, with your professional life. I take it as part of the game. I don't really mind, criticism, but some sportsmen do, and some people do. So we gotta respect that, and yeah, I think social media these days is over the limit a bit too much.
Yeah, I guess you're fortunate in some ways in that you're now 32, you're a little bit more mature. Can you imagine dealing with that when you were coming into F1 the first time, those early days at Sauber, which had some massive highs and then like the occasional low? Can you imagine dealing with that social media pressure?
Yeah, I had that as well. I think when you get into F1, you are dealing with that all the time. Yeah, I mean, I cannot tell what the young drivers have to do, but at the end of the day, this should not affect you. This should not change you, who you are at the end of the day, and what you're here for. This is at the end of the day a small part in your life, and you gotta spend it as big into it and just give it all. And yeah, you're gonna get criticism, and you're gonna get people trying to knock you down, but it's you that you have to make the difference.
Sure. Just looking at last year, the season as a whole, what was the biggest lesson you took? Because the overall trajectory seemed to be up, but there were dips as well along the way. So were there lessons you can take from that are going to make a difference this year?
Definitely knowing my team, knowing the car, knowing how this team works, how it operates, and just learning every day. It's what made the difference. I think, yeah, it went up through the year, but we also had very, very, very big lows, and it was difficult at times. Pressure was kicking in, at Red Bull. You're exposed into it a lot. But yeah, just being honest, just being working hard, focusing on the right things, and delivering for the team is what really matters. And I feel much better prepared for this season.
And that pressure you talk about, where does that come from? Do you mean it comes from within the team, or it comes because you're in a top team and it comes externally from media? And
both. You know, Red Bull expects another Max Verstappen. You know, and the media too, and the fans too, and all of that comes with it. So yeah, I feel I'm pretty strong in that regard, but it requires a lot of resilience to it.
And those lows you were talking about, how much of that was just that car? You know, you couldn't get your head around it. Was there anything else involved? Was it just the trickiness that car presented?
Yeah, obviously the car is tricky, or it's tricky to get to know it. But at the same time, that car is winning races, is winning the championship. So it's even extra pressure, you know, that rather than changing teams and you being able to have some time to adapt, you go straight into a team that is fighting for victories all the time.
And is it fully understood? I mean, and kind of does it matter, because obviously the regulations are changing so much, but do you fully understand where things kind of went a bit lost?
I think I have together with my engineers, we have a really good picture of what went on and what things we have to improve going forwards.
And what do you think about these new regulations? Is it going to be a zero reset for everybody? I guess you've driven it in the sim. You've started to get a bit of a feeling for what it's going to be like. How different is it?
It's going to be pretty different. It's going to be, big difference. The cars, the racing. Looking forward into it. I've driven the car on the simulator and it feels very different. But it's a nice challenge, you know, because we all have to adapt to new regulations.
And what's the main difference of the feeling in the simulator? What's changed?
Tires are different, the suspension, the geometries, the way the whole car feels, you know. It's quite a nice change.
Of course, no one really knows where anybody is at the moment. All the cars are in factories being put together. But Red Bull always goes for titles. So what's the approach going into this year? Can you say, like, we're going to be at the front for certain, or?
No, you cannot be certain of that, you know, but certainly at some point we will be. I think in this regulation it's very important how you finish, what's the progression like, you know, during the season. And that's something that Red Bull is pretty strong at.
And I'm guessing for you personally, the objective has never changed. It's still to be world champion.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I'm here for, and I prepare myself to be a world champion. And I really hope that I can have a good car this season to be able to fight for it.
And to do that, we know for certain you've got to beat Max. No matter what, no matter where your car is, you've got to beat him. So from what you saw last year, is that possible?
Well, I think there's no secret, you know, that I got the fastest teammate in the whole grid. But I'm working into it. You know, I wouldn't be here if I didn't believe in myself. If I didn't work through it, you know, I'm only here because I'm working to be a world champion, and I'm giving everything I possibly can.
And when you were looking at his data last year and you're looking at his laps and stuff like that, do you think, does it unlock anything? Does it make you realise, that's how he does it? Or is it not as simple as that? Is it possible to look at what he does and then replicate it?
But obviously I look at what he does, but you cannot always match what he's doing, you know, and it takes time, it takes some work. It will be interesting, obviously, to see with new cars. Of course, he's going to be mega fast. He has a great capacity to adapt to different situations. So, yeah, I got a great benchmark on him.
And you personally, where do you think you're ahead of him? Because we saw in races often you'd be able to match him. So what are the areas where you think you've got an advantage on him?
I think on the races I got pretty close to him, especially towards the end of the season. On qualifying, I'm still lacking a bit, and yeah, that's one of the things we've been working over the winter to understand what has happened. I think we got a really good picture of that, and hopefully we are able to take another step, another gear in qualifying, and if we are able to do the same in the race, then we will be very strong.
One thing you mentioned earlier was kind of getting to know the team and the progress that brings. Are you expecting a big step as you go into your second year? I know you've moved around teams before, but is that the way it works? You have 1 year kind of like getting to know people, and then you see a big upstep?
Yeah, I think, I mean, when I compare myself to the start of last year, it's like, you know, we all starting from zero with the new regulations, but I know already my team, so I think I'm in a very good position.
To change the subject completely and go on to racing standards, it came up a lot last year, what was allowed, what wasn't allowed, yet your battles, especially with Lewis, were often seen as a perfect example of what should be allowed, as in they were strong, robust defences, but you didn't overstep the line. Is it clear to you what is allowed and what isn't allowed? Does there need to be more clarification going into this year?
I mean, it's the story of every year, you know. There been clashes where you get a penalty, other times you don't get a penalty, but it's a difficult sport. It cannot be like football, where you have a yellow and red card if you do a fault for some reason. This is Formula One. This is different. Every track is different. Every maneuver is different, and you have different stewards all the time that are going to judge it differently. So I don't think it's a big. I think people are making a big fuss about it, but I think we gotta be supportive of Michael, you know, because he's done a tremendous job. You gotta consider that he stepped into the shoes of Charlie. Charlie, I mean, it's just an amazing guy. But Michael is doing his best, and he's definitely learning very fast. And yeah, we just have to keep supporting him, you know, as a sport, and see how we can make a better sport for everyone.
Yeah, because of course you've been in F1 for a decade. I remember we saw glimpses of you talking to Charlie in drivers' briefings and stuff like that, and it was very interesting for us to see that. But you had that all the time. So is this really nothing new in F1? Have these conversations always been going on? Has the standards of what you're allowed to do changed at all in your time in F1?
It's always been, since I've been in Formula One, you know, sometimes, yeah, as I said, you get a penalty for certain things, other driver doesn't get a penalty for that. It's how it is, a sport, but hopefully with the consistency going forwards, with experience, we can all help to make a better sport.
What have you made of the reaction to what happened in Abu Dhabi? I mean, I know you weren't directly involved because your car was retired towards the end, but obviously lots of fans still don't fully understand it. Do you think it's been handled the right way? Do you think it could have been handled better?
Yeah, I think it could have been handled better, but not necessarily would have changed the end result, you know. I think the end result is what didn't change. But yeah, whether or not was the right decision in terms of not letting everyone by, yeah, that's a different story, but the end result wouldn't have changed, so yeah, that's a difficult one.
And you said it's important to support Michael, so obviously you're quite keen that he stays, but what do you think has to change to give maybe him the support that he needs going forward? Do you think there's anything else?
I think just with experience, and I mean the situation that happened, you know, I don't remember when was the last time that race director had to make that decision that basically will turn around the World Championship, you know. So either way, he was going to get a lot of criticism from one side or the other. But yeah, as I say, the decision wouldn't have changed the World Championship.
And my last question to you, you're 32 today, happy birthday. How much longer do you reckon you're going to stay in F1? Are you still motivated to stay, do a Kimi, stay for another 10 years?
No, I definitely don't see myself as staying that long in the sport, you know. But I'm really motivated, you know. I'm like, I've never had the opportunity to be at the top team in my career. But I'm only 32 still, you know. I mean, I think I got the best years ahead of me, and as long as I stay motivated, I will carry on. You know, if I keep working to be a world champion every single year and have that motivation, I think once your motivation goes down, it's time to go home. You know, because there are great things out there without Formula One as well. So I look forward. I want to stay at least five more years in Formula One.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube, and for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app, and for premium content plus live streaming, make sure to subscribe to ESPN Player.